We are live down here in Albany where a fatal crash closed I-5 northbound for hours. We'll have the latest on the impact on traffic of this crash.
It was, again, the police moving quickly and stopping it before they could get it sold.
Swift police work helped that nonprofit worker recover almost everything stolen from a storage unit. How a break in a different case tipped off investigators. And Santa, yeah, he's on the move. He's making his way across the world. We'll be checking in on his progress using the NORAD Santa Tracker throughout KGW Sunrise this morning. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us this Christmas Eve. I'm Ashley Grams. Drew Carney and China Green have the day off. Let's bring in Chris McGinnis to get a look at the forecast this morning. Hi, Chris.
Busy weather coming at us over the next couple of days, but I'm happy to report, at least for today, things are starting to quiet down. We had some pretty good rain last night, and we still have some good showers now rolling on through portions of southern Washington, Clackamas, Marion counties, and now Lynn County. So that section of I-5 specifically here in the last 30 minutes has become increasingly wet. The rest of us, though, are beginning to dry out a bit from the quarter-inch plus of rain that we had late yesterday. In fact, radar shows that we're starting to see significant breaks in the precipitation across the Coast Range this morning. Downtown Portland, it looks like the rain has shut off for now. It's 47 degrees last check at PDX. The plan for today, a few showers primarily this morning. We will become, or I should say those showers will become increasingly few and far between, with maybe a few sun breaks this afternoon, and temperatures probably inching up to about 50. We shut all the rain off tonight. There could be some fog forming overnight tonight, so just be aware of that if you're out on the roads for midnight mass and all kinds of gatherings this Christmas Eve. Then we turn our attention to what's coming our way tomorrow. High wind watch at the coast in the Coast Range, winter storm watch in the Cascades, and major rainfall coming to the Willamette Valley for the second half of the day tomorrow. That's Christmas Day into the afternoon and evening. We've got a weather impact alert for that time frame. I'll walk you through that and all the details coming up in just a few minutes. Let's get you out the door. And the big traffic alert this morning in Lynn County, I-5 northbound shut down because of an overnight fatal crash in the Albany area. Thomas Schultz is on the scene, and he's got a live report coming up in about 30 seconds. Let's take you to North Portland. I-5's a little wet, but so far rolling right along. The trip to the airport over the Glenn Jackson Bridge looks good. And Highway 26 for now up at Government Camp. This is at 4,000 feet wet, but I do anticipate a little bit of snow in the Cascade Passes as we progress through the day today. Ashley?
Thank you, Chris. We're continuing to follow breaking news near Albany after a fatal crash early this morning. Take a look at this map to give you a better idea of where this crash is at. Milepost 235 just north of Albany, just past the Knox Butte on-ramp. Thomas Schultz is there. Good morning, Thomas. What can you tell us?
Hey, good morning, Ashley. And yeah, just about a minute ago, northbound I-5 just reopened after being closed for hours after this fatal crash, which happened around 1:45 this morning. This was a really gruesome crash, so we're going to show you some video of what that looked like. It was a two-vehicle crash. What we know right now is that there is at least one person who has died. One of those cars, a van, the whole front inside of it were completely destroyed. The other car, an SUV, was also very heavily damaged. It looked like it may have caught on fire as well. We do not know yet from ODOT if there are any other injuries. That's something that we plan to learn more. But for hours, since about 1:45 this morning, with I-5 northbound closed, traffic was forced to instead reroute off of exit 234 onto Century Drive, which runs parallel to I-5 north. So what that means is on a little two-lane road, semi-trucks and heavy traffic were flying through this little stretch of roadway here because I-5 northbound was closed for the past 45 minutes here. It's been raining down here pretty consistently in Albany. It's starting to pick up quite a bit. So fortunate that that roadway has now reopened and traffic can once again flow northbound along I-5. Ashley?
Thank you so much, Thomas. And we're continuing to follow updates on a double stabbing we first brought to you on Sunrise yesterday morning. The suspect accused of stabbing two people at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Northeast Portland is expected to appear in court today. It happened just before 3:30 yesterday morning at the hotel on Northeast 2nd and Northeast Weidler. Portland police say a woman called 911 to report she'd been stabbed by a woman who was destroying hotel property. Here's how a witness described it.
This guy was out there like trying to calm her down, and she went after him and she was like, "I'm gonna kill you." Like, I've never heard such a truly murderous rage come out of somebody.
Police say by that point, the suspect, 19-year-old Shanae Daniel of Portland, had already stabbed a hotel employee and a guest. Both victims were taken to the hospital with what police believe are non-life-threatening injuries. Daniel is expected to appear in court today. Portland fire crews had to extract a person from this car near Mount Scott and 112th last night. Investigators say just after 9, the car rolled over and caught fire, severely injuring the person inside. They were taken to the hospital, but we don't have an update on their condition this morning. The Oregon Nurses Association and Providence will resume mediation today. The two sides are trying to reach an agreement by Thursday, when a 5-day cooling off period is expected to end. If they do not reach an agreement and the union decides to strike, they have to give 10 days notice before walking off the job. Impacted hospitals would include Providence, Portland, St. Vincent, Milwaukee, Willamette Falls, Seaside, Newburgh, and Hood River. A wildcat sanctuary in Washington says at least 20 large cats have died from the avian flu. This is at Wildfield Advocacy Center in Mason County. The sanctuary's director says the first cat got sick around Thanksgiving, and the state confirmed cases of the avian flu there in early December. The center is now closed and under quarantine. The Washington State veterinarian says in most cases cats are infected through carcasses or meat products. And the holiday travel rush is on. If you're flying out of PDX, you'll want to keep an eye out for a brand new display that could help you get through security faster. TSA wait times for general boarding and TSA pre-check will now be posted next to the arrivals and departures monitors. And regardless of your concourse, you can use either of the two security checkpoints. Airport staff say travelers on domestic flights should show up 2 hours early. And if you're parking, don't forget to check how full the lots are first. Officials are forecasting the busiest travel days to be December 27th and 30th. So that's Friday and Monday, and then of course New Year's Eve. Weather is also creating a headache for holiday travelers all across the country. NBC's Adrian Broaddus has the update.
This morning, winter weather from coast to coast hitting during the last-minute holiday travel rush.
It's a little wild.
With Americans racing to get home before Christmas and the start of Hanukkah.
A day delay could mean that we don't end up home for Christmas.
Delays and cancellations piling up and tensions rising in the sky. Overnight, Southwest plane headed to Columbus forced to return to the Phoenix airport after a reported altercation on board. Today, travelers may need more patience as a storm in the Midwest and the Northeast with 20 million under a winter weather advisory is expected to cause more delays in traffic. But it could also bring a white Christmas for some, snow already falling in Pennsylvania. Winter weather also wild on the West Coast, where a major storm hit California's central coast. Hurricane-force winds driving flooding and dangerously high surf. A man dying after getting trapped under debris on a beach on the Monterey Bay.
We encourage people to stay out of the water until further notice.
And a wharf collapsing more than 10 miles away in Santa Cruz, throwing 3 people into the water who thankfully survived.
There are no serious injuries involved in that, and we believe that everyone who went into the water is now accounted for.
Back in the Midwest and Northeast, while Americans are hoping the wintry weather clears out, some taking matters into their own hands, choosing to head for warmer weather. In Chicago, the Borusovo family is heading to Puerto Rico.
What are you most looking forward to this holiday?
Being with my family.
And others, despite delays, already embracing the spirit of the season.
Definitely want to be on alert if you're traveling across the country, but things at least today look okay for those of us in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, they do. And by the way, if you're heading to the airport, maybe today you got a Christmas Eve flight. Actually, the weather does look like it's quieting down for a lot of the U.S., so that's good news. And I just checked the FAA flight tracker map. No major airport delays right now. So anyone with that on the agenda today, relatively good shape. All right, the here and now. And over the last couple of hours, we have had rain on and off through the overnight hours and early this morning. The heaviest of the rain right now appears to be focused basically on I-5 from about Tiger down through Tualatin and then getting down towards the Woodburn area and just east of Salem. That is the latest batch of showers that has progressed from west to east across the region. I think what goes on today is that those showers become increasingly few and far between. And Futurecast backs that up. Let me roll the clock on our computer model towards lunchtime. And again, numerous showers this morning, but they become less frequent and less widespread as we go to the afternoon. And then for this evening, of course, Christmas Eve, I think we all but shut the rain off for a little while overnight tonight and into early tomorrow. The other thing I wanted to point out is you see this clearing that's showing up on Futurecast? That could set the stage for fog. Remember that we did have occasionally dense fog early yesterday morning. There could be a repeat performance of that overnight tonight and early tomorrow. So for anybody on the roads late tonight, early tomorrow morning, just be aware of that. The temperatures generally hold steady in the upper 40s to low 50s today. And then tonight, as the sky clears, check this out. This is at midnight. We're at about 41 and maybe dipping into the upper 30s in Portland by early tomorrow morning. And that's why I think there's at least some potential for fog. Outside of that, the big story then becomes this big train of moisture coming our way as we head into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. And for that reason, and I'll walk you through more of that in more detail in just a few minutes, but the second half of tomorrow, Christmas Day, we have issued a KGW weather impact alert day, basically for Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. A lot of folks out on the roads. It's going to turn snowy in the Cascades. It's going to turn windy at the coast, and the Willamette Valley is going to get really wet. I'll walk you through that in more detail coming up in just a few minutes. Ashley?